You know that feeling when a single phone call with a good friend can just completely turn your day around? It can lift this mental fog you didn't even know was there. Well, it turns out that feeling, it's not just in your head. It's actually a deep biological command. Today, we're going to dive into why your brain doesn't just want friends, it literally requires them to survive.
Just picture this for a second. It's late, you've had a really tough week just buried in some demanding project, you feel totally isolated, drained, maybe even a little down. And then your phone buzzes. It's an old friend, you end up talking for an hour, you laugh, you catch up, and when you hang up, everything feels different. That project seems totally manageable now, your mind is clear, and you've got your energy back.
So what is going on there? How can one simple conversation create such a massive, profound shift in our biology? Well, the answer is buried deep inside our evolutionary programming.
To really get why we need connection so badly today, we have to go back in time. Way back. We need to look at the ancient blueprint that actually shaped our brains for survival in the first place.
So first things first, we gotta understand what our brain is even doing all day. It's not just sitting there passively reacting to stuff. Nope, it's a prediction machine. Its number one job, which it has perfected over millions of years, is to constantly scan everything around you and predict what's coming next, all to answer one single crucial question. How do I stay alive?
Now, we've all heard that phrase, survival of the fittest, and we usually picture some lone, super strong individual. But for early humans, that's just not the reality. I mean, trying to take on a saber-toothed cat by yourself? Yeah, not gonna end well. But in a cooperative group, suddenly, humans became these incredible predators. So for us, fittest never meant strongest. It always meant most social. Sticking together was the ultimate survival hack.
But how did evolution make sure we'd actually want to stick together? It didn't just leave it up to chance. It was clever. It built this really powerful chemical reward system right into our brains. So let's take a look at the actual chemistry that makes connection feel so good.
Deep behind your eyes, there's this tiny little structure. It's about the size of an M&M, and it's called the nucleus accumbens. This little thing is basically one of the brain's chief operators for motivation and reward. And evolution programmed this specific area to light up like a Christmas tree during social interaction, making connection feel just as vital as, say, food or water.
And this slide right here breaks down that whole amazing biochemical process. So when you're interacting with someone, your brain releases oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. That in turn kicks off a release of dopamine, which makes you want to do it again, and serotonin, which gives you that nice feeling of well-being. This chemical cocktail is so potent, it can actually create a sense of euphoria that makes us seek out connection over and over again.
Okay, so if connection is a biological reward, then it stands to reason that isolation is a form of punishment. Let's look at the real physical damage that loneliness can actually do to your brain.
You see, when we're chronically isolated, our whole stress response system, which is run by the hormone cortisol, it starts to go haywire. The body kind of becomes deaf to cortisol's signals, and that weakens its ability to fight off inflammation. The end result is this slow, silent, chronic inflammation that starts to damage healthy tissues and organs, including your heart and, you guessed it, your brain.
And just how serious is this damage? Well, a really striking study from 2015 with the dramatic title, "One is the Deadliest Number," gives us a very clear and honestly pretty alarming picture.
I mean, the findings from this study are just stark. You can see it right here. The mice that were kept in isolation suffered visibly, significantly more brain damage after having a stroke. Loneliness didn't just make them sad, it made their bodies physically more vulnerable to injury. So why does this happen? Well, it all comes back to that little wonder chemical, oxytocin. Turns out social interaction doesn't just make us feel good. The oxytocin it releases has these powerful anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective properties. That means it literally helps protect our nerve cells from damage. It actually lowers the metabolic demands of our neurons, which lets them, and this is a direct quote, hold their breath longer when blood flow is restricted. A friend, it turns out, can literally be a biological antidote to stress.
Okay, so we know isolation is damaging. We get that. But connection isn't just about preventing harm. It's also about actively building a stronger, more resilient brain. The best way to think about it? It's a workout.
Now, we might think of a chat with a friend as a pretty relaxing activity, right? But from your brain's point of view, it's the equivalent of heavy lifting at the gym. A conversation is one of the most complex things your brain's prediction machine ever has to do.
I mean, just look at everything your brain is juggling at the same time. It's analyzing facial expressions, decoding someone's tone of voice, managing eye contact, timing your responses perfectly.
It's this incredibly intricate cognitive ballet that requires enormous processing power. It's basically a high-intensity training session for all your neural networks.
And all of this exercise builds something incredibly important called cognitive reserve. The best way to think about it is like having extra brain power in the bank. This reserve acts as a protective buffer, helping your brain withstand the effects of aging and even neurodegenerative diseases.
And hey, the data on this is just overwhelming. A huge study, we're talking over 6,000 older adults, found a direct link. The people with more active social lives and bigger networks had significantly slower rates of memory decline. Social connection isn't just nice to have. It's a biological strategy for preserving your mind.
So, the evidence is pretty clear, right? We are hardwired for human connection. It protects us, it strengthens us, and it keeps our minds sharp. But, and here's one final, really fascinating twist. This ancient reward system, it can be hacked. That's right, by your dog. Our biological systems crave connection so much they can actually be, well, tricked. Studies have shown that when you just gaze into your dog's eyes, oxytocin levels surge in both of your brains, mimicking the same powerful bond you see between a mother and her child. Your four-legged friend can literally provide that dose of oxytocin your brain so desperately needs.
So the big takeaway here isn't just about feeling good. It's about a biological necessity for having a healthy, resilient brain. And that really just leaves us with one simple but pretty powerful question to think about. Your brain needs a friend. Who will you connect with today?